Hello everyone, and it's time again to do some Let's Talk Swimming. And today we're gonna do Let's Talk Swimming with Alex from Scale Swimming, as usual, partner in crime. Today we have a couple of topics which we want to discuss. First, we're going to jump in. Pedals, big issue with pedals. I'm a big lover of it. Don't know about you, but you can tell later. I was asked usually, how do you do pedals? How do you swim with pedals? What is the best pedal I should use and anything like that? First of all, what is your take on pedals? And secondly, how big?
Ooh, yeah, good question. Morning, by the way. Nice Tesla office.
Thanks.
Right. So to answer your question, paddles are very useful, very good. They should be in your kit bag. They're a good thing to use, and they're good for a number of reasons. So the first one, it can help you build your strength up. Okay, but you need to have the right technique to be able to use your paddles correctly. Okay, so we'll come on to that in a minute. The size, again, it depends on your level of ability and it depends on your technique.
Yeah.
Because we can go into that in a minute. One good thing about paddles, I love finger paddles, for example. Small, little, they're like a half moon that literally just fit on this part of your hand.
Yeah.
And for people who are really focusing on a technique rather than trying to develop their strength, these are an excellent paddle to use. So they really make you think about your form because they just literally strap over your fingers, and if your technique is incorrect and your form is poor, then the paddles will flip off. So you have to basically maintain the pressure throughout the whole of your stroke to make sure that the finger paddles don't flip off. So you can go really small, i.e. finger paddles, they are excellent, but then you can also go much bigger as well. Some people have like dinner plate size paddles, but they're for people that are really wanting to build up their strength and have got great technique already. So everything in between. So straight back over to you, and then we'll go into some of those things that I talked about a minute ago.
Exactly. So for me, I love pedals. I'm a big lover of pedals, and I'm the one who has huge pedals usually. As you said correctly, you should start small. If you are not new to swimming, and if you're new to pedals or anything like that, for me, my opinion is start smaller. Finger pedals is the first one, which has a very good impact on your technique and already on the feel of how it is in the water. So finger pedals are very useful, and then the bigger you get, the more on the one hand is the response towards what you do in the water and how your hand needs to be positioned in your technique, and the bigger you get is also an element of training your muscles, like in a workout way. It's not only for technique or to have a better understanding where your hand moves through or how it does it and where you lose a bit of pressure. It is also an element of training your muscles on getting strength, upper body strength, especially in your arms and everything like that. And this is where I am most likely at the moment to build this kind of things, because my technique is up to speed and where it should be in the end, to use bigger pedals to actually have this trainings effect in the end. For my side on, I mean, I guess you would agree, for a beginner you wouldn't suggest a bigger plate, and I guess that would be the move towards the technical side of why you shouldn't have dinner plate pedals if your technique is not up to speed.
Yeah, that's right. And then also, like, we talked about the different size of paddles, so it depends on what type of training you're doing as well. If you're wanting to just do long, slow, steady, like, what's the purpose of why do you want to wear hand paddles? So actually, Marcus, I'll throw it back to you. Does it matter what size hand paddles you use depending on whether you're training for a short distance event, so if you're a sprinter, or if you are training for a full distance triathlon, for example, and anything in between?
Yes and no. I mean, I need to be careful what I say. I would always argue, I mean, if you can hold it, if you can hold a good technique, and or the perfect technique for your body, the bigger you can go in the end. I would argue like this. The only thing what is not allowed to do is it shouldn't harm you, because pedals can easily harm your shoulders. But if you can sprint with a straight arm catch and windmill style, and you can do it for 50 meter and you not lose an inch on it, and you can do that, that is the most effective training you can have. Most of the problem is if you have this dinner plate pedals, it's very hard to maintain it for even 50 meters or 25 meters in the end. This is the problem, I think. And there it goes more into it's the same thing as weightlifting. Let's compare it to weightlifting, right? When you start off, or when you go in, I mean, you shouldn't start with the heaviest weights on both sides. If you go and lift the bar, I mean, you start with the bar with, let's say, 5 kilos on both sides, and the bar itself has its own weight, and then you start to perfect the movement of it, and then you go bigger, right? And then you improve. And if you're a world champions power lifter in the end, I mean, they do all outs and with the most weight they can have, and similarly it is with the pedals, I guess. It's like the weightlifting. I mean, would be my analogy to it.
Yeah, you're right. Like a lot of people, I see that are new to swimming or new to training in the pool. They're like, oh, the bigger the better. I'm just going to get some big paddles. But you're right, you've mentioned it already. If you've not got the right technique and the right form, then you're going to do yourself an injury, because you're putting an enormous amount of pressure with a big hand paddle, if you've got a incorrect technique, on your shoulders. And, you know, we've heard swimmer shoulder and so on. We don't want people to get that, you know. And if people aren't, for example, so let's not talk about sprinters right now. Let's talk about middle distance swimmers or distance swimmers. People who have got that glide technique like you, or trying to emulate your glide technique, they might not be leaning forward and reaching forward. They might be quite square on in the water, and then all of the pressure with a big hand paddle will be going straight through that shoulder, and then of course that's an injury.
Exactly. I mean, as I said, technique and body rotation is very much a thing, and very much important. I think if you have a bad technique, not using pedals is also not the way. I guess it's just the size of it, because, as I said, on the one hand, there is an element of knowing what you do in the water and getting an extra feel to just your hands, where is the pressure and where do you lose it, so you can correct that. So the pedal helps you to get the right technique, and also you see then, oh, I have more power if I have a proper rotation in my arm and I lean forward a bit on the glide technique. But then after that, once you have this technique, it's a matter of whether you can sustain it and whether you can lift it in a weightlifting kind. I mean, if you can do 10 normal lifts over your head, from ground over your head, with a certain weight, then that is good, and you can maintain it for a certain time, and at some point you need to go bigger. And the same thing can be with pedals. But on long distance, you not necessarily only want to have the muscles. You want to have the strength. You want to have something that you can maintain it. So it is a bit of a trade-off. You need to find your way, right? What does it help you? In the end, you can't use it in a competition, so you need to also learn to swim without it. But you need to have some sort of feeling of paddle swimming, and the speed you want with paddle swimming, you want to transfer that into the swimming without pedals. That is my take on it.
Yeah, that's good. So just picking up on the injury, this is quite interesting. I'm just using some new hand paddles right now, actually.
Oh, good. What are they? Tell me.
Well, I will tell you. So, you know, the other week that we put out that collab post where we were talking about, or we showed Dr. Hannah Fry talking about the scientific evidence of exactly how spread or splayed your fingers should be for optimal propulsion, basically. She was talking about the eddy currents and all of that.
By the way, she's a professor at Cambridge or Oxford. No, Oxford. Oxford. No,
She knows the stuff. She's a mathematician, I think, isn't she?
Yes, at Oxford, teaching at Oxford. Sorry.
So we're going to listen to what she says.
Yeah, exactly.
And it kind of put to bed the debate of should your hands be really tightly closed, your fingers tightly closed, should they be like this? And she was saying that the about there is like what she called the Goldilocks zone.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is the perfect. But anyway, the point is, somebody who I used to train with on the Nova Centurion, the county squad in England, reached out to me and she said, you won't believe this, but myself and my husband, so their name's Alex as well, strong name, great name. She said, look, we, myself and my husband have actually created this company called RC Sports or RC Sport, and they create hand pedals, but they're custom built, right? Yeah. This isn't by the way, this isn't a paid post or.
No, I get that. I understood that from the beginning on.
What's happened? So anyway, I've started using them. What they do, they create 3D print these pedals to the shape of the size of your hand. Okay, so you give them the measurement of your hand, and then they create hand pedals for you. And basically, the way or where the fingers are held, and it's based on that scientific evidence.
Oh.
So hold your hands in that correct position just to get practice at the form. It feel really good. I'm going to read it. It says, designed by swimmers, for swimmers, precision engineered using the latest materials, manufacturing techniques, designed and based on scientific evidence, which is what we just talked about, custom made to individual hand size. And the reason that they've created those is basically to try and help reduce injury from oversizing your hand paddles.
Yeah.
So you can have these custom size hand paddles that will really help you improve your form, develop your strength, and then as you get stronger, you can get bigger hand pedals and so on. But basically, reduce that shoulder injury.
Oh, that's a clever one. That's a clever one. We need to mark them in that video which we created now.
That's a good,
we do shout. That. So as I said, no paid. It's really just we like it. We do things or say things which make sense, and this is our main goal. Also, in things when we say something, it should help improve people's swimming experience. So I guess to sum it up from
look.
Look. Ah, nice.
Oh, and they have this. It says there's a little stabilizing profile in the center there, which kind of just sits under there, which is nice.
Yeah.
A water entry point indicator at the top, and actually that's quite nice where I just sit my finger on it.
Yeah.
I've been using those this week, and they feel really nice. Actually, the material is nice on the hand, and they feel really solid. So
good. I need to try those.
Well done to Alex and Ed.
We'll need to try those, definitely.
Yes.
I mean, otherwise, if you don't go with these pedals, there is obviously pedals from Speedo and Finis, and they're good ones. Or Tier has also good ones. Again,
it's
just
all subjective, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it depends on what you want, as we usually have it. It depends on your goal. But I guess to sum it up, we want to say that pedals are. I think they are an important element of your training, and they, to a certain extent, they help you improve your technique to see where your hands are and where they need to be. Plus, also there is an element of training of strengthen or getting strength in your upper body and training your upper body strength, and this would be the rule is if you have the better your technique and the more comfortable you are with your technique in the end, and what you can hold on your hands as a pedal, the bigger you can go. Yes, it starts small with finger pedals, then go bigger. And if you're not an elite swimmer like the ones we see now at the World Championships, which are swimming in Budapest or so, I don't think it should go bigger than, let's say, what a centimeter, max 2 centimeters around your hand. More it shouldn't be at all. There are bigger ones out there, but what does it help you if you have swum for your training and did everything with big pedals, and in the end you have shoulder problems and you have to stop? What does it help? I guess that would sum it up all a bit.
Perfect summary of it. So basically, as you're learning your technique, as you're improving your technique, fin pedals are great for that. The better you get, the better your technique, the better your form. Slowly you can build up the size of your hand paddles, but don't overdo it too soon. Otherwise you get bad shoulder.
Exactly. So this why we conclude this call. I hope you all liked it. Share, like, and follow us. Scale Swimming, this guy there, and Marcus Martel. You know me. I mean, okay. See you soon. Talk to you soon, guys.
Yeah.